Today I'm bringing you a story of a family with 3 daughters, the oldest one with Down syndrome, and the hurdles that they've had to overcome to bring their daughters the education that they deserve. Stay tuned. Ready? Yes. Hi there, my name is Melissa Branham and I'm the mom of the WanderStruck.Family. We travel bringing you stories of homeschool families and their journeys, including their successes, their struggles, and their suggested tips to help you in your road to homeschooling. Whether you're new to homeschooling, already home educating, or a veteran to homeschooling, hopefully you can find ideas and inspiration in their journeys. Yeah,
that was good. Yeah, thanks. Nice.
All right, today I'm here with my friend Marcy, and Marcy, introduce us to your family.
Okay, I'm married to Erin, and we have 3 daughters. Courtney is 17, she has Down syndrome, and Megan is 13.
Birthday
Start
season.
Again. Megan is 13, and Brooklyn is 10.
Perfect. And have you been homeschooling from the beginning?
So that goes into your other question too, is how we started homeschooling.
Okay.
Just go right into it.
All right, let's go right into
it. Originally, no. Courtney was in a public preschool, and then we started her. We enrolled her in kindergarten at our local kindergarten, elementary school. I wasn't really happy with some of the things that were happening in her kindergarten classroom, and so we looked into a couple different options, and they were willing to transfer her to a different school. Well, I looked at all of the schools that were near our house, and all of them were full and busing kids away, and I didn't think that at 5 it would be a good idea to bus her somewhere far from our house. Really the only option I was left with was doing independent study. So we enrolled her for independent study for kindergarten. I loved it. I had sisters that had been homeschooling, and I had always thought, oh, I could never do that. That is way too much, and I would never want to. I never really thought that that would ever be an option for me. And so I was kind of forced into the independent year that we did through the school district. I just loved it. I loved being home. I loved teaching her. When she had gone away, even in preschool, she'd learn new things, and she'd bring home new things that I didn't know, and I was always sad that, like, oh, somebody taught her that song and I don't even know that song, and I missed like a part of her day. And so I realized how much I loved it, and then so I started talking to other homeschooling families that year, realized that I had more limits with being in independent study through the school district, and so moving to a charter would give me some more options for curriculum and choice in what I wanted to teach her. And so that very next year we ended up moving to a charter school, and then we've been in that ever since.
Perfect. So if you don't know the difference between independent homeschooling and homeschool chartering, I'll click that link below or add that link below. I'll also link anything else we cover in this video so you can find anything below, and of course ask if we forget anything. So did you ever consider going independent, or was it charter just seemed like the best option for you from the beginning?
Charter was the best option for us for the beginning. I felt like I really needed guidance and help, and I really liked having that the first couple years. And we stayed in the charter, and I've been really happy with the charter that we've been in so far. So yeah. When Courtney, we did go to 1 year of independent teaching where we just did our school ourselves for just Courtney 1 year, and we can talk about that a little bit later, but then I ended up putting her back into a different charter.
Okay.
So I ended up switching charters just for her.
Okay. And being with the charter school, it also gives you support of having, support for like special education and so forth.
Yeah, that was definitely something that we needed for Courtney. Being in the charter, and that year that we didn't have it, I really missed that. And we paid for some independently, but it's very nice to during the charter because they provide the special education that she needs.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you start homeschooling. You start off kindergarten, well, I guess, yeah, kindergarten, 1st grade, and then how far behind was your next one, Megan?
So Megan is 3 or 4 years. I think she's 4 years behind Courtney.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a good start before you
had
the next.
I had a good start. And I always told people, they're like, oh, are you going to keep homeschooling? And Even today, if you ask me that, I will still say, well, we reevaluate about every 6 months and make sure it's still a good fit for our family. And especially during those years when I was having babies and toddlers around, it really was, we really did stop and reconsider every 6 months. And I would say we still do that now, although I'm like, oh, I've been doing it for 12 years. Maybe I am just homeschooling now. Maybe I don't reconsider.
It took me 6 years before I was pretty sure I was not going to screw my kids up. So.
Exactly.
So you kind of reassess and like, does this work for us? Yeah, it works for us now, and so you can continue going.
Yeah, especially when I had little ones, I had to make sure that was I still providing what the older ones needed and tending to my little ones, and were we able to find a balance in that in our day? And we really, we had a lot of serious conversations about was it all working, and it always was for us, and so we always continued.
That's awesome. So what did you start with when you started homeschooling? Did you have a curriculum or a box package, or pick and choose? Or?
Nope. Yep, we just picked and choose, and that's picked and choose.
Picked and chose?
We've never gone with any box set or any full curriculum. We've always just chosen individually what we want and what works for that kid at that time, or our family at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you have kind of a system, or do you have a system for finding? Because it can be overwhelming. Like you log online, you get online for Rainbow Resource or any of the different. Where do you start? I guess is.
I think that's a big one. When I think about looking back and thinking about what would I do differently, I think I would have gotten more help with that. I don't know even where to suggest looking for that help. Being with a charter helped. The teacher had a lot of good, and finding a good charter teacher even within a charter was important.
Yeah, I hear a charter teacher can really make or break your experience. So.
Yeah, it did for us. And for a while, and that's something I would advise new people, is if you're not happy, if you're not really 100% happy with the charter or any teacher that you have that's helping you, don't hesitate to find a different one, or to ask the school to switch you. We stayed with one because I liked her as a person, and she was meeting our needs. And then a situation became where I thought it might be better to switch to a different one. And when we switched, I realized how much a difference that made. And it really did make a big difference. The other one was good, but we found one that was better and better suited for our family and what we were doing at the time.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate on that. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have switched sooner.
Yeah.
And she was very understanding, and we parted ways kindly and happily. And
I think we can get emotionally attached, but sometimes we have to remember that a charter school or somebody that is teaching a class, they are essentially working for us. And so if you're not happy with the person who is working for you, it's okay to part ways and say, I appreciate you, I appreciate what you've done, but it's not working for us at this point.
Exactly. And on that note, with Courtney being in special education, she has had therapists that it was the same. She was working with I think it was a speech therapist. And I loved the lady. She was older, kind of a grandma-y, and she was great. And she was working really hard with Courtney and trying, but Courtney just didn't like her. There was just something about their personalities that didn't click. And so then again, I hesitated a little while because, she was just, I loved her. And I finally talked to the company that was providing the service and said, Courtney's not really clicking with this teacher, and she's not making progress like I think she should. The gal who owned the company said, we've kind of been seeing the same thing and thinking the same thing. And so we switched her to a new one, and she started making progress again.
Oh, nice. So they track their progress and are able to see. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. With special education, they keep a good eye. You can have an IEP just like in a brick and mortar school. So an IEP is an individualized education plan, where you sit down with your teacher and a special ed teacher, and then any specialists that are involved in her education, and they all devise what's the best plan going forward for her educationally.
Where are gaps in their education? How can you fill them?
Yeah, and what extra services they might need. So if they need speech services or occupational therapy services, or even just special ed services, maybe they need a little bit more tutoring or a little bit more on the subject.
Being with a charter school, you get funding. Does her IEP services come out of her budget for her charter funding?
No.
Okay.
So you have your charter funding that's just for your education.
Okay.
Anything that's on the IEP comes out of their special education fund. I don't ever see a number for that, but that's covered all under that. And so sometimes in the IEP we sit down and we say, I'll say, well, she really needs this, and we have to kind of discuss, okay, well, is that just a general education thing that she needs that you can order with your funds, when she needed an iPad and it was to help her with some communication and with some educational things. The team decided that needed to come out of the education fund, or the special ed funds. And so that came out of her IEP. That was never out of our
So that's nice.
money,
So that still leaves your funding to be able to buy curriculum and do classes and enrichment for her that doesn't come out. That's really nice.
Not out of.
So did Courtney have an IEP right from the beginning? Like when she started in kindergarten, did they give her an IEP?
Yep, she had gone to the preschool and that had been through special ed services, and then so right away when we started kindergarten, before she went into kindergarten, we sat down with the team and she had the IEP since then. So that's
and then when you transferred from the public brick and mortar and then you went to the charter school, well, first you did independent study and then charter school. Did her IEP carry all the way through, or did you have to
Yep. Our independent study was through the school. I should have clarified that. That was still with the school district.
Okay.
And so that was just on her same IEP through the same school district. When we switched from the school district that we were living in, our brick and mortar one that we had done independent study with, to the charter, the IEP is a legal document, so that follows you.
Okay.
So they brought that in, they examined that, and then as soon as you enter the new school, they sit down and do a new meeting and come up with a new plan.
Okay.
Because sometimes it changes with what they can provide.
But she doesn't have to go through all the testing again, and
not usually. No, if they have assessments that they've done recently, those all follow right along with the IEP.
Nice.
So they do those at their normal intervals.
I have heard stories of parents that have had to hire lawyers to get IEPs done or corrected, or have you ever had experience with anything like that?
So when Courtney was in, not until 8th grade. So Courtney had gone on her IEP and we were happy with the charter that we were in. At the end of 8th grade, we had an IEP. She would be then going into high school. And so we had the IEP meeting and we thought everything was set up. We started high school, and within a month or two of starting high school, the school called an IEP meeting. And I was not happy at that meeting with things that were said and things that were done and what the school wanted to do. The school had taken a very sharp U-turn from where we thought we were heading to where they wanted to head. So at that point we went to mediation. So we talked to lawyers, but we didn't hire a lawyer. We did not go to court. We started in mediation, and we were able to say, they don't have the same track and ideas that we have, we're going to part ways. And so instead of fighting it in court, we decided we were going to leave that charter. And that was why we then went to independent for that year, the rest of that school year. So her freshman year. And then by that next summer, I was ready to look at it. I had looked into some other charters, and the one we're with now has a great special education program. And so we've been really happy with them. We enrolled her in that charter and have been happy with them.
That's awesome. Are you willing to share who you're happy with?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know if you were doing specifics. So Courtney, for special education, at least in high school, we're with Inspire, and they've been very supportive on what she needs as a student and what fits our family best for her, and they've done fantastic. We've been really happy with them.
Awesome. Now, your other two girls, were they already in with Inspire?
No, they were with South Sutter.
Okay, so and
they still are.
Okay, I knew you were split.
Yeah.
So just Courtney left.
Just Courtney left and did the independent, and then is with Inspire. And I have considered switching the other two because having them in two different charters is sometimes cumbersome.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
So that's two teachers you have to meet with, two teachers you have to report to, two different locations you have to go to for testing.
Yes, and two different ways of, getting
reporting
resources too.
Resources.
Yeah. So if we want to go on a field trip somewhere, I have to talk to South Sutter and get 2 tickets from them, and then do Inspire. So it's, and I have thought about it, but again, we've talked about how a good teacher can make or break kids, and I feel like the teacher that I have for my youngers is doing a great job, and she's a resource that I really need right now. So we've stayed with South Sutter for them. So.
She must really be a keeper.
Well, and I would say even South Sutter has been a great school up until that special education in high school. Maybe that's not their forte.
Right. That was the hiccup. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, we have been happy with South Sutter.
Over your course of homeschooling, do you have any curriculum or programs that you've done that really stick out in your mind as, this was really great, I'm so glad we did this, this was...
Yeah, I've thought about that in knowing that this interview would be coming up, and I really don't. I don't have anything that I love, and sometimes I wonder, maybe I shouldn't be homeschooling.
I don't think
maybe
that's
I should
it.
pull it together.
Maybe
and
it's
do
all
something.
so good.
Curriculum is a crazy thing. It can be so overwhelming. There's so many things out there. It's hard to find, and sometimes we'll have one that I think is great, but then the next kid comes up and starts using it, and it doesn't work for them. They're a different learner, and I think this was great for your sister. How come it's not working for you? And have to find them something, and it's a challenge. We do have a math program that we really like, and I will think of the name of it and share it with you. Yes,
is
it's
it
math
teaching textbook?
Teaching textbook. Thank you. I have really liked teaching textbook.
I have heard that over and over again, and my kids use it too, and we love it. And I thought, well, maybe that's, I don't know. I just never really tossed it out there to the masses to say, what do you think? What do you think? You know, because I love it. I didn't feel like I needed to shop around. But after doing so many interviews, it's like everybody's
using it. Oh, that's good.
So if you haven't found teaching textbooks yet, you may be missing out.
Yeah, that's been a good one. So one of my daughters had, she was really struggling with the curriculum, and we took probably about a year and tried several different ones and tried to find, and that was another.
Was it a specific subject, or was it?
It was math. It was just math.
Oh, okay.
It was just math, and so I can't even remember what curriculums we've tried. She just started struggling in it, and I thought, okay, maybe it's the curriculum. And we took about a year and tried lots of different, and that I would suggest as well, if you're finding something's not working, don't hesitate to stop and look for something else, or to reach out to either homeschooling community or your teacher or other friends, and be quick about switching. I think with her, she got behind a little bit in math because of that, because I wasn't quick enough to realize it wasn't working for her. Yeah. She's all cut up now thanks to teaching textbooks. She was able to work, but she had to work hard to kind of get caught back up again. And I think I tell her all the time, I'm sorry, that was that year that I didn't know quite what would be best for you. And so, yeah, but if you're with a charter, they seem to have some good resources for finding curriculums that best fit kids' learning styles. So
yeah, if you don't have access to a charter, Rainbow Resource is fabulous. They have a phone number you can call, and you can talk to their education specialist. They are fantastic.
I agree.
Yeah. And I have to say, I take it to Facebook when I really can't find.
Reach out.
I like to take it to the masses.
Who's out there and can help me?
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like just throwing it out there to the masses of Facebook, and you feel like you get sometimes an overwhelming response, but typically there's something that is repeated back and forth, or there's a couple things.
Or something sticks out to you, like, oh, I need to try that one. Yeah. And that'll be,
at least it gives you a springboard for places to try. So, and of course, I highly suggest you check out all my videos that talk about the different subjects and different curriculums that are available for different subjects. But if you have something specific you're looking for, or a specific learning style you're looking for, check out other homeschool families, Facebook, and like I said, Rainbow Resources. They're fantastic.
Yeah, they are really fantastic. Yeah. They do a good job of.
You guys use a lot of travel in your enrichment, which speaks to my heart. And were you part of the original on the homeschool group?
I was close.
Okay.
I was close to it. They were originally meeting on a day that we couldn't go because we traveled a lot with Courtney's therapies. Sure. And so they kept bugging me. Don't you want to come? Don't you want to come?
I do. Stop taunting me.
And then the group actually ended up switching days. And I was like, okay, I can come. So I was close to the start of it.
But in addition to the homeschool group, if you're not familiar with our homeschool group, I've talked about it in a couple of previous videos where we meet once a week and we do homeschool field trips, and there's a video linked below that talks about the outline of how we put the group together, and you can go from there. But other than just the once a week field trips, which you always came to the meetings with like a file folder of ideas, and she was like, here's my ideas. And she would sit there and flip through and be like,
do you want to do this? Do you want to do that?
Are we looking for something that's earth science, water? You want to hike? What do you want?
It's true.
But you guys do a lot on your own, like just as your family. You're totally fearless. You guys are great about traveling.
I try to be.
So what are some tips you have for families that are wanting to get out more and wanting to make that more a part of their enrichment?
Yeah, just do it. Just get out there. I know I've talked to other homeschool families who, we don't have time. We need to focus on our our core subjects. And
yeah.
my kids have learned so much from just getting out there and doing it. And I know there's research to back that up, that when they get it hands-on and they hear it from different perspectives and viewpoints and see it in action, they remember it more and they learn so much from it.
And we've been to some cool places.
We have. And it's social. I mean, you get that social. We're with different families and different dynamics and friendships. And
even if you're not going with just a core group, even if you just go and meet people where you are, meeting different docents, and you know, they've gotten the opportunity to meet people and talk with people that you know, it's been great.
Just do it. Just get out. Just start getting out. Start look in your community. What's available in your community. You may have a nature center nearby or a park with a ranger that's willing to talk to you. We reached out to a weatherman once who came and talked to us about the weather, and radio station. We've met at a radio station before.
We did the radio station tour. And a lot of times they're excited to have you. You know, they're excited. Oh yeah, you guys want to come for sure.
Yeah, it's really...
I always say you have to bring 3 things. You have to bring food.
Yes, always.
Even if you're not going to eat where you are, you always bring food.
Or you don't think you're going to eat.
Yeah, always bring food. Always
Snacks.
bring water. Extra water. So I carry a case of water in the back of my car. And shelter. So sometimes that means bringing jackets or bringing blankets. And I always just keep those things in the back of my car when we're traveling, because we've gotten stuck places. We've had flat tires. We've been, delayed in traffic. And we are super glad just to have those 3 things. If you have those 3 things, I feel like you can weather the storm no matter what it is.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice. We have a big bin in the back of our car, and it has just all of those things. Or sometimes even a change of clothes, especially when the kids were little.
Oh yeah.
We ended up totally playing in the mud today. Didn't know that was going to happen. But
didn't see that one coming.
Change your clothes, and then we'll head home.
You're so nice. I make my kids ride home in their underwear.
That works. It works. If you don't have room for that or don't think about it, don't worry. But the snacks are a must.
That's so
Keep
funny.
those kids happy.
When you opted to homeschool, you said your sisters were already homeschooling, so
Some
I'm
of them,
assuming they were on board. Did you have any pushback from anyone?
Yeah, so I should clarify that was my sister-in-laws.
Oh, okay.
I refer to them as my sisters, but my sister-in-laws, and they had been homeschooled, so my mother-in-law was super supportive, and they were all super supportive.
So your husband had been homeschooled?
He had not. His younger siblings had, but he and some of the older siblings had not. She hadn't gotten into it and aware of it until
So he had experience with it, but he hadn't been homeschooled himself.
Yes, yeah. So he was a fan and he was on board, and immediately we could see the benefits of it, and that's why we kept doing it.
Sure.
My family was a little more hesitant, definitely, but I mean, they were, yeah, you do what you want, that's fine. They don't homeschool, they don't now, and a lot of the comments like, oh, I could never, and I wouldn't want to be with my kids that long, or whatever, and they were a little bit more on that end, but they were happy to let us do what we want and have it be different. That was okay. It worked.
When you first started homeschooling, did you have any fears that you remember that really you almost felt like kept you from taking the leap?
Yeah, definitely. I think not feeling like you would know enough to teach, or I've never taught, how am I gonna, or having the time. What if I don't have enough time to manage my house and provide for my family in what they need for meals and tending the house and how that all is, and then or tending a sibling that's younger, is that gonna work? Those kind of things. Honestly, I think too there was a stigma. I think that's less now. Yeah. But there's that stigma of you're homeschooling your kids. Really, you're gonna like
homeschool kids are weird.
Yeah, they're weird. Kids are So there's definitely that fear of what other people are gonna think about you. In doing it. And once I kind of got over that and realized I didn't care so much about what they thought, and you find a community. You find other people that are doing it, and it works, and your kids are learning things, and
you find that support system.
Yeah, you find a good support system of people that have like-minded ideas of what education should look like and can be, and you let everybody do what works for them. It's not for everybody, and if it's not for them, fine. But you find those that have similarities to you and like-mindedness, and get that support in that community. That you need.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so important.
Yeah, that's why the group works so well. Is that we can.
But I have to say that was not the first group that I had tried to be a part of. I think that was maybe the 3rd or 4th group when I first started homeschooling Ella. I had tried different groups, and I would go to a couple things, and I just didn't feel. I don't know. I just didn't feel. I didn't feel it. Like I don't know if I didn't feel welcome, or I just didn't feel like I fit, or I didn't feel like my kids clicked, or whatever. And as soon as I started going to our homeschool field trip group. I was like, oh, okay. This is what it
there
should
we
feel
are.
like. Yeah, here we are. This is our happy place.
Yeah. And if a field trip one's not for you, you
Yes.
know, maybe a park day one is for you, and that fits and
Or a
feels
co-op
great.
or some
Yes,
sort of
or a
co-op
co-op.
class.
Yeah. So finding a good fit.
That would be fun. Do a tea day,
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
Let's get together
it.
and have tea.
I love
every
it.
week. That would be super fun.
That'd be great.
What do you do when you run into those times where you just don't want to? Whether you wake up one morning and you're just like, I'm just not feeling it, or you get into a funk and you're just not motivated to continue on, and what do you do?
We all have those days. They're going to come. Just crawl back in bed, go back to sleep, forget the whole day.
Peace out. Netflix for the win.
Yeah. Hey, there's a lot of good educational stuff on Netflix.
This is true.
Yeah, yeah, but I think realizing those days are going to come, and it's okay. It's okay to not hit the schedule of what you thought was going to happen that day. I'm a pretty scheduled person. I kind of, have expectations. Like we're going to get through this today and these subjects. We try to kind of have an outline of the day. And some days it just doesn't work, whether it's you or whether your kids are in a funk and they're just not doing it. On those days, I would just say it's okay to let it go. Overall, it's going to be okay, even if you miss that one day. Curl up on the couch and read, watch something educational, or get outside, take a walk, or go somewhere.
Bake
just find something. Bake something. There's so many different learning opportunities everywhere, That's so much. I'm like, that's still so much learning. Kids are sick on the couch some days. I think, here's a book, read. This is still a school day for you.
Yes, yeah.
And just overall knowing that letting that day go and making sure that everybody's happy and okay and getting back on track later. It's overall going to work itself out and be okay.
I love it. I would like to know what each of your favorite curriculums are for each of the subjects.
No, I don't have one.
I know, but you have something. So like, what's something that you've used for science or done for science?
I have not found a good science one that I really like. No, I just picked up, a friend gave me a copy of Apologia. Somebody gave me that one and I thought, okay, fine, I'll try this one. I really just I buy science kits, like we've bought Magic Treehouse kits and we've worked through that whole
individual
kit.
kits.
Yeah. I've never really, science is one we've never really stuck to a really good rigorous. Yeah, I've got one that's gonna be in 8th grade next year, and I'm like, okay, it's time. We got to do something. Get her, make sure any of those gaps that we've missed need to be filled before she starts high school.
Sure.
And I've really liked that one.
Yeah,
so,
I hear they're really good. I actually am going to look into them for next year.
I've really liked that one a lot. That's one the charter won't pay for because it.
So the charter
will pay for parts.
Will pay for the supply kit, but they will not pay for the teaching material.
Yeah, but it's worth it because the supply kits that you can buy through them have literally everything you need. Yeah. You don't have to go to the store for anything. Yes. It has like a stick of gum in there with a toothpick and whatever you need for today's project.
If you need tinfoil, it's got a little piece of tinfoil.
Yeah. So it's totally worth it. And the books are reasonably priced for what you get out of them. They're a little wordy, but I think lots of pictures. And the one that we have, some of the other ones, and we even bought the workbook that goes with it. And that one's been going good. I've been happy with that one.
All right. How about English? Have you done something with English?
We are using the Good and the Beautiful and we love it.
Is Courtney using that for high school?
No, because she's not on a high school level for English. So she uses it, but it's not a high school level. So I've not.
I'm just curious
because
I love their high school.
Oh, good. That's good to know because I've got Macon coming
up. It is so good and beautiful. I have to say though, ever since my kids started using the Good and the Beautiful, they have pointed out and appreciated things that they hadn't before.
Oh, interesting.
Like Mia will run outside to watch the sunset.
Oh, that's
And she just
fantastic.
stands there and she goes, it is such a beautiful sunset tonight,
That's
or they'll
neat.
stand there and they'll watch a tree blow in the wind. And I know I'm fully aware that sounds a little weird, but they will, and they find appreciation in it and they go, oh, did you hear that? That sounds really pretty. And I love how they slow down and they listen to those things. And I love it pulls in English and it pulls in...
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, history and geography
and art. My kids have loved the art that they do in it.
Yeah, so it's really a good one.
Yeah.
And we talked about teaching textbooks for math.
Yeah, for math. All of my kids are using that.
Yeah.
Courtney is not. So Courtney's my only one that doesn't use that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because math will just be a struggle for her forever. So hers, we have to kind of pick and choose and just find what works that day.
Yeah. Okay,
and lots of hands-on.
Well, on that note, each of your girls has a gift. They're all good at something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean something like it's kind of their specialized. So I'm curious, what have you done for your girls for their interests to really help them to run with it?
Okay, Courtney is enthusiastic 100% whatever it is that day or that week.
She loves movies.
Ultimately, she loves movies. That's what I was going to say. She loves movies, film. And that great teacher that we had that I was telling you about said, you know, even when we started high school, she said, okay, well, let's have her read some scripts. Let's have her write a play.
That's what she said. She's writing a play.
Yeah, and and you know, for somebody who struggles with writing because there's so much motor skill and planning and thought that has to go into that, has written pages of scripts that are just, you know, this character says this, and sometimes it'll copy exactly what she's remembered from the movie because she'll remember the movie exactly. Yeah. And sometimes it's not. She'll add in things, but I think she writes pages where you know that was a goal that she had to write a paragraph, and here she is, you know, writing
pages and pages.
Yeah, yeah. So music and movies are definitely her. Music is super motivating to her. When I can't get her to do anything, I take away her music, and then she does it, and then she gets it back. But really, she learns a lot with music too and movies because she can remember them.
Do you put a lot of things to music? Like, do you try and find things that have learning material to music to help her?
Yeah. We've gotten lots of different. Any out there we've probably have tried and kept with her because she'll go back and listen to them over and over even. And
well, she loves the camera, and actually right now would be a perfect spot. Here was my interview with Courtney because she could not wait to get in front of the camera. What do you love about homeschooling? What's your favorite thing about homeschooling?
Free time afterwards.
Recess
every day.
You guys do a lot of field trips, right?
Yeah, trust me, I've been on several hikes. Oh, I do not like hikes.
You don't like hikes?
No.
You've been to some pretty incredible places, though.
That's just one thing.
Yeah? If you don't like hiking, what's some of the things you've done that you do like?
Movie making. And singing, dancing, all that stuff to do with movies.
Performing art. So movies, dancing, anything that has to do with film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we're about to do now.
Is your mom a good teacher?
I'll say so. Yeah.
I want an honest answer.
On a scale of 1 to 100, I'll take her at a 10.
A 10?
Is 100 the best?
Is 100 the best or 100 the worst?
It depends. It all depends.
Depends on the day. Do you like getting to school with your sisters?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because you're the big sister.
The big.
You are the big sister. All right, what do you want to tell other homeschoolers, whether they're be parents or whether they're kids? What do you think they should know about homeschooling? Or teens. What do you think they should know about homeschooling?
That God makes you special and He loves you very much.
Oh, that's a good one. There you go.
And you all have a purpose here on earth.
That's so true.
And even your dogs too.
You know, you should have told me so I could have given you more.
What?
Me like chatting and running around in the background of your interview.
It's okay. I didn't want her to know I was filming her though.
Yeah, because that would have been different. That was really smart.
She would have been
herself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so Courtney, very much visual arts. I think it's funny how you said it's kind of her carrot, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes it's about finding motivation for kids.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's super important.
Yeah.
Especially with Courtney, I think a little more, but even the other ones, when you find they're not into something, you got to find out what motivates them and
I have
work
one
the
that's
curriculum
friends,
around that.
And I have another one that it screens.
Yeah.
And, so you got to find.
It's different for each too. Yeah, totally.
I have another one that's shooting his bow and arrow. So.
There you go. And they'll work for it if they want it.
That's right. Okay, so Courtney's visual arts.
Yeah.
How about the other, Megan and Brooklyn?
Yeah, so Megan is art, 100% art and reading, and a little bit music, but art. You know, she worked so hard to get to the good and beautiful, where it's teaching her a new skill in art. Yeah. And so we've given her bought a lot of art supplies and let her do her own thing, and taken some art classes that she's just loved. We've taken some online, some in person.
Have you guys ever tried the Let's Make Art kit?
No.
The watercolor?
No.
Oh. You should. Okay,
put a link to that so
I
that
will.
I can get that later. I don't want to forget.
I'll just tell you, I won't include it, but it's so you can subscribe to it monthly and get like the monthly kits, and it comes with She's how many? 4 projects in each box.
Okay.
And it comes with the final picture, the step-by-step how-to.
Oh, nice.
It comes with the watercolors. It comes with what else does it come with? It comes with like a little postcard, and a card with it that tells you who they're making the postcard for. So you make the postcard, and you're supposed to send it to like a particular address, and it's for a person, whether someone who is in need of some extra love, or somebody who's done great things and they're trying to encourage that person, or and they're totally average Joes that are not. We're not sending cards to celebrities. That's not what it is.
Right.
And then they have the tutorials online, so you get online.
So you gotta watch a teacher too, because I do find that helps.
Yeah, and so you can log on and watch their live videos. They do one live video a week. So you have 4 different pictures, and so they say, hey, on this week we're doing this picture, we're doing the bunny, and on this day we're doing the stars or whatever. And then if you miss any of them, you can just log on and watch the videos.
Not live, but it's
not
just
live.
on there saved.
And they're on there saved. And then you can and then you can pause it and everything.
Yes.
And then on their website, so it comes with enough to do. They say 3, but we always get more than 3 out of it. But on their website, you can
3
also
of each one project. So 3 bunnies, 3 stars.
3 stars, 3. Yeah, but we always have
Plenty.
extra.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on their website, you can order like pads of watercolor paper.
Just more.
You can order the paint brushes. And then they have like a watercolor tray. And I didn't think it was that important, but it's kind of like a curved tray so that the watercolor always runs to the side. And it's like slightly curved and allows you to mix and blend. And it's not porous, so it doesn't get stained, because if you do it on your dishes, it's going to stain stain it. And then they also have the brushes that they recommend, because she uses kind of a specific size brush, and I'm sure you could run to the art store and get it, but if you order it, then it's so much easier. Yeah. And then you can order like large bottles of paint if you wanted it. Yeah. And so they're not the hard watercolors. They're individual liquid. Super cool.
Wow, cool.
So much fun. Again? Let's Make Art.
Let's Make Art.
You can find the video. You can find the link below. You can find the link below. But it's one I super recommend, and we don't do it enough that we do the kits. So we don't get them month to month, but you can
just order one.
You can just order one, and it's more expensive to just buy the bunny or just buy the star, but to us it's worth it. One, we can pay for it with charter funds, but even if I was paying for it out of pocket, it doesn't make sense for us to get
buy a bunch of stuff you're not going to use.
It would just sit
even
there.
if it's cheaper individually. Sometimes it's not worth it.
And then it allows me, so I usually have each child pick one. What looks fun to you to do, and then we'll do Mia's one day and Ella's another day, and it's super fun.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and I am not an artist. My kids are super artsy. I'm not artsy, and I can do it. So it is a really promising program. I've done one, so I'm like, wow,
I can paint.
I can make art.
Is it all watercolor, or do they
it
have
is all watercolor?
Okay,
but they do have like, what is it, like letter, like where you learn to write real fancy lettering.
Calligraphy,
but it's not calligraphy. It's but it's something typography. I think is what it is. And so you learn to make artsy wording.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yes, so they do have that,
especially with watercolors.
Yeah, so they are expanding, but they want to make sure whatever they do well.
It's good.
And so
cool. We'll have to take a look into it.
She would really like that, I bet.
Yeah,
and just to try it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, sorry. So we were back to Megan's super art.
Yeah.
How about Brooklyn?
Brooklyn is my Spitfire child. She is all
she does not conform to anything.
And she's pretty strong-willed, and so her and I together can sometimes be a challenge. But she's loved the performing arts. She loves her theater class, and even when the other girls dropped out and didn't want to do it anymore, she will not give that. She loves it. She loves being on stage and loves the whole idea of it. Singing and dancing in front of you. Yes, okay. She does.
We have a particular performance company here in our area that's specifically children's theater, and they have specific homeschool workshops that they do during the day. So those are really fun. They're longer classes. It wasn't just about learning your lines and learning, where you were.
The show.
It wasn't just about the show. They did a lot of exercises and getting them to be comfortable speaking in front of an audience, clearly speaking, and just really public speaking in general, and the whole package. Not only the words that were coming out of your mouth and the volume and the speed, but also what does your body look like as you're speaking. So Yeah, they were great.
And working in groups. I think they've done well to have
Yes.
different personalities working together, and they work really hard on that.
Yeah.
Group games
And
activities,
another social opportunity
yeah,
for the kids. So
yeah.
and they do. I feel like the kids that do it regularly, they see each other, you know,
Yeah,
program
yeah.
after program after program, show after show after
Yeah.
show.
Are
and
you
they
doing the
build-
next show?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
are you going to do it? Let's do it together.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, and
build some friendships.
I personally have never heard of a child being disappointed in the part that they got, because they just,
they make
they're just so
everybody-
glad to be a part of the show. And yeah, they
stress that. They stress.
do.
We all work together to make this show happen.
Yeah, yeah, and
Everybody's
everybody
important.
does something that they all feel like they're included.
So that's definitely. And she has a knack for music. We just
Yeah.
got her a ukulele, and her and I have both started taking ukulele together or trying to teach ourselves. And she just picks it up so quick.
We should get her and Mia together.
Oh, has she been doing
Yeah,
ukulele?
she just got one for her
fun.
birthday.
She just does it like, she can play by ear, and I'm like, that's not what's on the page. You gotta follow the list of what's on the page.
I can't help if they put it down wrong.
Yeah. Mom, just do this. It's fine. It sounds good. But music should,
That's very cool. Yeah, Mia totally just got into
No,
it.
fun.
We
yeah.
should get them
She
together.
would love that.
Give them someone to go to
Yeah.
or work with. All right.
To jam with. They could have jam sessions.
Yeah, jam sessions. The
ukuleles.
the family we live with just got a drum set and put it in the back, and so now we've got like drums and the ukulele, and one of the kids from another homeschool group plays the guitar, and so
Awesome.
they're having a
Jam
good time.
Sesh.
I forgot my question.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So exciting. The drum set.
Right. We're all ready to get like future music stars. Here's our retirement. Where I know you said that you guys reassess every 6 months.
Yeah, I feel like, especially in the beginning, I did.
Yeah.
Is this still working? Are we still okay?
Okay, so being into your homeschool journey, you have Courtney, who's now a senior. Where do you see your homeschool journey taking you in the future?
Okay, so Courtney, because she's on an IEP,
Yeah.
and because she's in special ed, we have chosen to put her on a certificate track. And so certificate track is a little bit different than a diploma track. So instead
Okay.
of working toward a diploma and having those certain requirements that you have to get a diploma, she's working toward a certificate. And so that can be whatever she needs educationally, something that's going to push her
Okay.
and get her to continue learning,
Okay.
but doesn't have the requirements that a diploma does.
Okay.
In California, special education can go until they're 22 is when
wow.
they age out of the program.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things I really like about the charter that we're with is that they have put her on their certificate track, and they will keep her with her class, so she knows she's a senior, she knows she's graduating next year. We talk about all the time, she's super excited to be a senior, and she thinks she's going to move out the day she graduates. So we've had some conversation about that and what it takes to move out.
She's a very precocious young lady.
But so what we have done for her, and a little bit different than your average kid, is that we've said that she'll graduate and then she'll start homeschool college.
Oh,
and
cute.
so she'll stay with her same charter and still get all of her same services up until that 22nd birthday. So far, this is the plan. It can always change. Give it 6 months, and it may change, because there are other programs. If you decide to have them finish school before they're 22, then other agencies come in and help with that. But for now, the plan is to keep her in and to keep her with Inspire, and then we'll do homeschool, like I said, homeschool college.
That's
and
cute.
she'll be able to take some classes, at the local community college.
I was gonna ask, so she can do dual enrollment still?
Yeah, just like any other high school kid can.
Yeah.
And then we'll just continue with her education through that.
I love that.
Yeah. And so the others will just follow right along. Thus far, my middle one, Megan, wants to stay homeschooled. If she, we give them a choice, like we let them in on the 6-month evaluation now these days. They're getting old enough. So she's really happy. She'll start preparing. She'll take a year to prepare for entering high school.
All right, so last question.
Sure.
What words of wisdom would you like to pass along to homeschoolers out there?
Yeah, new ones.
Anything. New ones, existing ones.
Keep going. Keep doing it. You're doing great, even when you think you're not. Or if you're thinking, man, could I do that? Give it a shot. You can try it. People that are thinking or kind of on the fence about, well, I've thought about doing homeschool, and if just give it a try. You can always go back if you want.
Yeah.
You don't have, once you pull them out and put them in homeschool, it's not set in stone that that's what they have to do forever. You get that 6 months period, or maybe it's 1 month, and then you realize, nope, that's not going to work. Let's try something else. So
it's like curriculum. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid to change it up.
Change it up.
Yeah, and find what works, and don't be afraid to turn around and help others, even when you think, well, I'm not a seasoned homeschooler. Sometimes it's just somebody needing support in a different way that's not even homeschool related, you know. It's just a friendship thing, or support they might need in a different way. So don't be afraid to turn around and see who else you can help out and lift along the way.
Yeah, I love that.
And inclusive. Always teach your kids to be inclusive. That's always been really important. Our group's been great about that.
Yeah.
But not everybody is, that you find along the way. And so I think, teaching your kids to include everybody and that everybody learns differently. And the way that you learn isn't going to look like the neighbor next to you is going to learn. And that's okay, because we're all in this together. And
that's
just as long as we're all learning and being kind to one another.
We're all on the same team.
We're all on the same team. I tell my kids that all the time. I'm on your team. Don't forget.
We're all on the same team. We all have the
same
we all have the same mission. It's just we're all taking different roads to get there. We have to
and that's okay. You got to take the road that works for you. And you got to understand that other people are going to take the road that works for them. And support them in that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Great, yeah.
Oh my gosh, well, if we missed anything or we left you with any questions, please don't hesitate to put them down in the comments, and we'll bring Marcy back for another sit down and glean more inspiration off of her. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in our next video. Take care.